And we are live. And looky there, there's Brent. And,
Why'd you start with me?
Me, and there's both of you guys. So, grumpy old men, you guys.
No. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Well, you know.
No, it's welcome here. Get off my lawn.
Welcome.
Because I'm friendly.
Welcome to our lawn.
Yes. And
Now
if you-
leave.
And if you misbehave, then get off my lawn.
I love it.
Oh, so
It's been a month.
it has.
Yeah, we
It
had
has.
trouble
Life
getting
got in
together.
front of us.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did. Yeah, but I'm glad you're here.
Yep. Me too. It was fun. Although, I guess you guys saw the comment from my brother-in-law, David Jacobs. He said when he watched this the first time, he lost brain cells.
Well, hey, you know, it's not for everybody, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I think, well, you know David.
Yeah, I do.
know. He's kind of a brainiac, and I think he was expecting too much.
Yeah, don't expect too much from this.
No.
Well, I think you should expect all kinds of wonderful
Hey,
things.
here's the thing. You, me, Mark, we're Gen X, and we
There.
are the forgotten generation.
Okay.
Because if you remember,
Remember.
they did the whole thing. Here's the greatest generation, and then they skipped us, and they went to the millennials and Gen Z
No.
and
What
all
about the
that.
boomers?
Yeah, the boomers, and they skipped Gen X.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm afraid of, because Trump's not Gen X. He's boomer.
Oh, I think Gen X is fine. I
And
think
J.D. Vance is millennial. So
Good.
we're going to get cut out of this whole deal.
How old is J.D. Vance?
He's like in his 30s.
Yeah, he's
Maybe
young.
40s, yeah.
Yep.
It's okay. We don't need it.
all right. So
All right.
there's so many things that I wanted to say.
And then
And-
you can't think of any of them.
Well, I could think of a lot of them, but one of them was like, okay, just to clarify, Grumpy Old Men, the movie, and that's why I'm moron and you're putz. And we were trying to think
And
about,
just a reminder, do not look up putts online.
and we weren't going to do that to Will, because he's running for office.
Do you have
were
a name
trying
for
to
him?
be nice, but I think schmuck works.
I'll take it.
And so, I mean, I had
Okay.
to ponder that for a month. Also, here I've been doing video promos for this and trying to get.
You have?
Yes, I told you that we were gonna, when you came in, that I was gonna slow motion walk you, and we were gonna have this really cool video promotion thing. Get
I
our
mean,
own
like the
music.
astronauts and the right stuff when they're walking slow down
That's,
yeah.
that's right. That's right. So,
Look, Will just left.
oh, see you later, Will.
Are you going to
think
come join
he's-
us?
That's okay. Hey, tell me something.
Yes.
All right. Everybody has said, I've seen it on the text messages and everything, how handsome I look. And because of the.
Right. So let me tell you about something that happened to me in town a while ago,
Okay.
because nobody wants to talk about that.
Well, I was going to point out your Hawaiian.
It's tropical. It's not really Hawaii.
Topical or
Tropical.
tropical? Okay.
So I was leaving town a while ago,
Yes.
Springfield to be specific, and I'm coming down the road, and this car just plants the brakes in front of me, and they've got their right turn signal on. They're going to turn into this parking lot.
Yes, let's complain about
And
traffic.
yes, I'm going to. And because get off my lawn. So there's this dude that's coming out, okay, and I guess the person making a right turn was going to wait for him to get out of the way. And there's all this traffic coming, people going by me, and I'm, of course, right behind them. And if you look just down the road about 50 feet, there's another entrance into this parking lot. And I'm like, dude, why don't you drive on down a little ways? You can get in without going around that big truck. So that's my gripe for the day. Drivers,
Yeah.
Can we just spend the whole show complaining about bad drivers?
No.
we could. We could.
No.
We could.
Okay. I was getting ready to dive into something really topical, and then you switched gears to this mean thing about
No, you were
drivers.
talking about how good you look.
Well, I was pointing. No, that's not what I was. I was leading in that way.
Oh, so that was a segue.
Yes, like one of those little mini bikes. Is that a segue?
No, but we'll go with it.
All right.
So what are you leading into?
We were talking last week about why we're doing this.
Last month.
Yeah.
Well, no, we were talking about last week. But
All right.
We didn't do it last week. So why are we doing this show? And
That's a good question.
that is a good question. And I was
Because I didn't have anything better to do on 5:30 at 5:30 on a Monday night.
okay. Will and I were discussing. It might be more than that. It might be more. So Will has, for the past 10 years, I guess he was telling me, had this, not a slogan, not a mantra. What would that be?
Oh, my personal
code?
mission statement?
Your personal mission
Yeah, it's to
statement.
glorify my God, promote my community, promote my God, glorify my God, protect my family, promote my community, and make communists uncomfortable.
So personal mission statement, that's PMS.
I guess it is, yes.
So,
What's your PMS?
No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But I would point out that that's something that he was talking about that I think we should address. I think a lot of this community promotion and the things within the community is stuff that we should include in this. So,
You know, as I've gotten older, it's become way more important to me to support, especially like local businesses.
yeah.
That's just important to me. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go way out of my way to go someplace, like in Rogersville, because we're going to probably talk about this at some point. We're moving back to Rogersville.
Hooray!
And so, yeah, I know you're excited. So I'm going to try to support local businesses.
That's wisdom.
That's
wisdom.
good. And if you want to promote your local business, Planet 417 and this show is a great way to do that.
What a segue I gave you.
Thank
That segue. So what is the segue I'm thinking of? I know a segue is
This
like
is your balance on it. It's a little electric motorized with a gyroscope and yeah.
Okay. So, but it's I don't know what
That's
that
the
word's-
company.
That's the company.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Segue means it's a lead into another.
That's what I was talking about.
S-E-G.
It's really sad.
G-U-E.
It's really
Segue.
sad.
Yeah.
All right. So, going on with what you were saying about Planet 417, because we would like to promote this so that we can get people to support Planet 417, so that you can get it into other communities as
Yeah.
well as Rogers.
For sure. We love all the Ozarks. So, wherever your town is, Forsyth, Sparta, Marshfield, Bear Grove, whatever. If you're in Ozarks town, if you're in Planet 417, if you're
Butts, Missouri, we're talking to you.
if your old zip code, which didn't, or area code, which means nothing now, but used to, is 417, we want to be part of your community and help you let the world and your local people know what you've got going on. So that's why we're here.
Yeah. And I think this is a great thing for them to see that, hey, you can do this in your community, and you don't have to do it the way we do it. Like I could promote it this way for you. If I was, let's say, Bruner or something like that, I would say, hello, folks. I'm Joe Schmo from Bruner, and here's my
He doesn't
joke of
live
the
there
day.
anymore. He actually moved.
What do you call a man with a rubber toe?
Roberto, we've all heard it 12 times.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
So you could have your own jokes. You could talk about all the fantastic things that go on in Bruner or Oldfield or Dogwood. You see how I'm headed to Ava?
Well, we've had the morning waffle for 5 years here.
And that's crazy, by the way. I mean, that's crazy that it's been 5 years.
It really has. It's yeah. And the fact that we can still talk and fill up 45 minutes is nuts. But the reason we can do that is because we want to talk about Rogersville because that's our hometown. We want to promote it. We talk about what's going on in Rogersville. This last week, we talked about Empire Coffee, a new coffee shop in town.
Yeah.
Which is excellent, by the way.
It's
I highly support that local business.
I cannot, if you've not been there, I can't tell you what it's like, because if you've not had that, you've probably not had coffee in your life.
Wow.
It's a different experience.
So when I get moved out here, I think we need to go back to our 9 o'clock Saturday morning coffee thing, and we can include.
Oh, here's the fun thing.
This guy.
They're going to start opening at 8.
Oh,
so all those
nice.
old people that wake up at 6 a.m. because of our prostate.
Yep.
5:30.
We can meet there at 8.
Yeah.
And Mark
Nice.
and you and Mark Garrett and my children and your son-in-laws and all that stuff. We can all be there. And your
Speaking of-
your son-in-laws too, because you guys only have girls. I don't know what's wrong with you. I only had boys, but you guys only had girls. So anyway, I have
That's
sons.
its own challenge.
I have sons. You have son-in-laws. It's all good.
Yep.
But we can all get together at Empire Coffee, 8 a.m. here in Rogersville, and have a good time.
So this is an old man story for you.
All right,
You
tell
guys know, I mean, I wake up at the butt crack of dawn. And it's just, I just do. My body wakes up and I'm like, okay, I got to get up. Saturday morning, I slept in until 6:30.
Wow.
Which, I mean, that's earth shattering for me. I woke up and I'm like, why can I see light coming through the blinds over there? Oh, wow. I slept in. I'm old.
Hey, I want to ask you guys, have you ever played pickleball?
No.
No? None of you?
Too athletic.
Well, I understand that, but I think it's not.
I've got to keep this bod up.
I got to preserve that. My wife told me tonight, your sister,
Yes,
that
I know her.
She's going to play pickleball tonight with my future daughter-in-law, and I'm a little.
You're concerned that you're going to get roped into this.
Well, I mean, I could do that, but it's probably something that I need to do. But
well, I'll
It
tell you
is
this.
a gym game that has gone
Berserk.
berserk.
So our good friend, Tim Plaster,
yeah, Pastor Plaster.
Pastor Plaster,
Yeah.
got into pickleball a few years back. And I mean, he is eat up with it. So much so that I think that when the Summit built their new church building over here, I think they have pickleball courts.
Well, that's good to know.
So if you don't, sorry, I'm promoting the wrong thing.
I don't know. I just think it's going to go to the way, softball they used to play 7 nights a week, and then it kind of faded.
Well,
I
we
don't
did, but we're too old to play softball now.
Bowling used to be a big thing. Roller
I gave up
skating
softball about 10
used
years
to be
ago.
a big thing. I think pickleball is going to run its course.
I don't know. It's a thing right now. It's definitely the fad
It's a fad.
for us old people.
Yes. Well, but young people are getting into it
That's
too.
true.
It was invented, from what I'm told, it was invented as a way to get older people off their butts and doing something active, and then it kind of grew from there. And
But before that, there was like a family in Washington State that started just goofing around with racquetball rackets and a volleyball net and a tennis ball. And they kind of made it a thing, and now here we are.
Every gym teacher in America had a version of pickleball.
Just
that they
like
played.
Jim Naismith, who invented basketball
That's right.
back in the day.
so
right?
kind of like Calvin ball.
Oh, well, I don't know about Calvin.
Okay.
Tell
You
me.
remember Calvin and Hobbes?
Right.
Yes.
Calvin ball had no rules. They made them up on the fly. And so it's kind of that same thing. They just got to kind of playing around and made up their own rules. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Scott Rector, and I, we had a thing that we kind of played like that, and
Boy.
we used.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, Scott. Yeah, he's my age. We had we had like hockey nets or something that you used, like that you put on your lawn. But we had racket balls, and you had to hit it in the net, and you could do that. So it didn't catch on.
Okay.
It was not a thing.
Okay. Well, Gutfield would have a whole list of topics.
You said gut field. I thought you said gut feel, like, well, my gut feeling is.
No.
No, Greg Gutfield. He's
Yes.
good.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. Well, he has like this whole list of notes that he lists, and you told me I can't do that.
Well,
that's
he has a
cheating.
political show, and he has writers. So,
But he still.
Do you want to use
Reads-
the little cards like Johnny Carson used to use?
Yes.
You know, he'd pull out a card. Oh, Karnak. I mean, you could be Karnak too.
Hold the letter up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
That works better with an audience.
and we have no audience.
Hey, I was told, I'm just going to put this out here. There are people who do not understand our dynamic, and they feel like that some people may be being mean to other people. And I just want to point out that that is just a special dynamic of this relationship, and it's not mean.
I would like to
It
point
is
out.
just fun.
I would like to point out that being mean to other people is perfectly okay. There are people that deserve to be mean. You should be able to be mean to them.
But he was saying, or this person was saying about other people being specifically mean to me, and I was saying it's okay
But you're the easiest person to be mean to.
because
You don't remember it the next week.
I remember.
Sorry, that was
things.
mean, wasn't it?
Yeah,
God, it's
that was me.
100% true.
Yeah,
So should I tell the story about when you and I first met?
sure.
So we met in high school, and I don't know, was it my junior year, you think? Your sophomore year, my junior year?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
So establish that. You're class of 87.
87.
Mark's 88.
And Will's 89.
I'm 89.
Yep.
LRHS,
So I am the elder statesman in the room.
for sure.
But I was a photographer for the yearbook and for the newspaper. And this is back in the day of kids. It was called film, and it came in these little canisters, and you put it in the camera, and it was black and white. We had color,
We
but
had the development room.
yeah, we
which
had
was
that. So we had
awesome.
the dark room, and that's where we processed the film, and then we printed the images. And Mark joined. I don't know. It was kind of rolled into one class, yearbook / journalism.
Right.
And I didn't know him at that point. He's just this young guy, and he's like, hey, hey, can I help? Can I help? Can I be a photographer? Can I help in the darkroom? Can I help? And he pestered me. And so one day I was working in the darkroom, and there's this obnoxious process you have to go through when you're developing film. You add the chemicals into this thing that has your film in it.
Canister.
It's a thing.
Okay.
And you have to shake it for 15 minutes or something. A long time.
I was going to say.
And so we had developed this method of wrapping a rag around it, and you could kind of get extra
Yeah.
shake action. And so I'm like, I'm going to let Mark help. So I opened the door to the darkroom just about that much. I said, Mark, come here. You want to help? He's like, yeah. He runs over, and I'm like, here, shake this. Really? Yeah, shake that. How long? Until I tell you to stop. And I shut the door.
Shut the door, and I'm standing out there shaking that canister around, and I don't know. I don't.
A while.
It was more
I'm
than
not even
15
sure
minutes.
I actually gave you real film the first
You
time.
did. You did.
Okay. But
But
that went on for some time.
before I finally said, "Please let me in the room."
Yeah.
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 And we became,
Pretty good friends.
yeah.
All right, you want to hear my story about the dark room?
Yes.
So back in my day.
Are you going to admit to something
Oh,
here?
yeah, I probably am. It's okay.
Because I know where you're going
the
right now.
statute of limitations has passed.
Okay.
So
This is a great story.
Yeah, it's not bad. So I was in what they call the CATS program back
Right.
then, which is the curriculum for academically talented students or whatever. So I was the only senior in that class, and there was Greg Hopper. I'm going to out them all. Greg Hopper was I think he was maybe a sophomore. And then Sean McIntosh
Wow.
was a freshman.
Sherm.
As was
Oh.
Grady Musser, retired Navy general or a Navy captain.
Sean
And that was
May.
the four of us. We called him Sherm, as you know.
That's right.
And we were down there in McNeese's classroom, which had the
Journalism.
attached to it. Yeah, the journalism room, and it was fourth hour, and that was lunch hour. And we had to go get our lunch, right? And we go all the way down to the other end,
Which was literally at the
It's a
other end of the
long
building.
way, and
So
we get our
yeah.
lunch trays, and we come back and we eat our lunch, and we didn't want to take them back. And our first solution was to find one of the lockers out in the hall that was not assigned to anyone. And we would put our lunch trays in that locker, which eventually we were told you can't do that anymore because they stunk. So eventually we started going going into the room,
The dark room.
the dark room.
Yes, which had a suspended ceiling.
It did.
Drop ceiling.
And we could push up the drop ceiling and put our trays up there over the stage in the room. So it was,
The drama department.
I don't think
trauma
I can
department.
explain this right,
Yeah.
but the rooms were kind of offset.
There was a thing in the back of the room in the drama department that kind of,
The stage.
yeah, it kicked in like this. And the dark room was over here, and I think there was a closet on the other
Yeah,
side.
that's right.
correct.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. And so, but if we put our trays up there, they were essentially over the stage in
Mm-hmm.
the drama room.
Now, I think that my group had done that in the past.
gonna
and
say,
you could
you're
kind of
not the
balance it
first.
on top of the wall.
Yeah, we
which
weren't
I
the
think is
first.
what you guys did.
Yeah, we
you
weren't
weren't
the
putting
first.
them on top of
Except we put so many up there
Yeah.
that at some point after I graduated, they fell through the ceiling.
They fell through the ceiling.
Yeah,
Into the drama room
in the
during
drama
class.
room, but
During
I was,
class.
I was long gone.
Yep.
And that was
So-
bad. Shouldn't have done it. I repent. Ask Jesus for forgiveness. and
Yes.
all that stuff.
So McNeese never could understand why we never made money selling candy.
Same stuff.
Reese's peanut butter cups. You know, you don't put those in a room full of
Guys.
high school junior guys
Right.
and expect us to
Sell
Not-
them, not eat them.
right.
Yeah.
And so we actually hid boxes of those Reese's up in that same
Yep.
place until we got into them one day and there was a giant hole gnawed in it from whatever ROUS was living up in the ceiling.
Rodent of unusual size.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. We didn't encounter those with our scheme, but yeah.
Yep. It was either a rodent of unusual size or a freshman that somebody had stuffed up in the ceiling at some point.
Which could have happened as well. Because we could do things back then. That was the fun part.
Okay.
You can't do that now.
Go
Do you
ahead.
remember the funnel?
No.
Okay. So senior guys would get on each side of the hallway. Before school started, you leaned up against the wall, you talked.
Sure.
So we'd go to freshman hall and line up on each side. And the first guys in the funnel were leaned up against the wall. And then gradually they were just further and further toward the middle. And your freshmen would have to go through this gauntlet. And by the time they got to the end, they're like, excuse me, can I get through?
Sure.
I never took part in this one. It was not my deal, but I witnessed it. The guys who started smoking early had lighters in their pockets, and they would heat up a quarter and put it on the ground and wait for some unsuspecting lad to walk by and try to pick it up. They found great humor in that.
Well, I have a bit of a different recollection about that. And this is maybe because I'm 2 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
But, back in our day, penny count was the thing.
Big deal.
You
Yep.
guys remember penny count?
Oh, yes.
And so penny count was sponsored by student council. And,
And the juniors always won.
yes, and for good reason.
Sure.
The penny count, every class collected pennies, and whoever had the most pennies would get half of whatever was collected. But you could put anything else, silver, dollars, whatever else, and that was a negative.
Right. So you wanted to put dollars and silver in the other classes.
other classes.
Yeah.
Yes. And my recollection was, and maybe this was when I was a junior, but we would super glue pennies to the floor to look for the freshmen to try to pull them up or superheat them with a lighter to so that when they would try to pick them up, they couldn't.
Yeah. There's also the old trick in the lunchroom. Sorry, Mark, you were never mean. So
I'm shocked at both of you. I truly was not a part of any of those things. Nor am I aware that they actually happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's just your faulty memory.
Yeah, it is.
Remember what you
No.
Do you remember
what you used to do
before they switched to the little plastic salt and pepper shakers, that you can't open?
Yeah.
They throw them away when they're empty. They had little glass salt and pepper shakers, and you could screw off the top. And my buddy Brent Short was the first one I saw do this. And he would take the top off and put a napkin and turn it upside down on the table and then slide the napkin out. Well, I'm sorry, cafeteria workers. The only way you can pick that up is to make a giant mess with salt on the table.
Yeah.
We were cretins.
Yep.
It was, well, the ironic thing about that is Brent Short was short.
He was indeed short,
He
yes.
wasn't a tall man or a young man.
But he was built like a fire plug.
Oh, man.
He was like,
Yeah, he
So
was.
Brent, if
Barney
you're
Rubble.
Brent Short, if you're watching, you are more than happy to come in rebuttal
he
at some point.
He passed away a few years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. So, yeah, that's.
But maybe he is listening.
Well, that's how old we are. We've
I know.
lost a few.
And that's, when you get to thinking about it, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
You look at how many people you've lost from your, graduating class or from other adjoining classes that you knew, and it's tough.
Yeah, and my class, unfortunately, almost everyone I've lost has been a self-inflicted.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Loss. So that's rough.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Brent had a long health battle.
Yeah.
And
Well, this isn't fun, so let's.
let's move to something better.
You guys started talking about mean things, and
And we just shut you down.
I just didn't know what to say.
So is there a halo underneath that hat?
Hold on.
Well, I mean,
No,
If,
I can't. There's
if,
not.
If I'm going to remember Mark, so it's my junior year because he was a senior, and we were on assemblies.
Sweetness and light, right?
That's where we got to really connect
each other.
and know each other. Yeah, and I was the. And I'll just have to say, there was somebody that really helped me by putting me on that committee because if not that, I would have been just your regular nobody. But somebody saw that I could do those things, that I could be the assemblies, I could be the announcer, that I could be the public person. And I don't know who that was. It might have been
Could have been an Alan Reed, could have been a Nancy Talley, could
Sue
have been
Robb.
Sue Robb.
Yeah,
Yep.
it could have been one of those, but I mean, I probably owe my life to them because they really found me when they did that and connected me with people like you and Julie Ballamy and I don't know whoever else was on
I
that.
think it was Tracy.
Reynolds,
Yeah.
and we had a great year. It was a lot of fun, and I will put what we did up against anybody.
It was pretty good.
It was darn good.
We did, I don't know, the Back to the Future
They
skits.
don't do that anymore.
It's a
And
Wonderful Life
it's-
was so well done.
yes.
And
You do, give me your George Bailey.
oh my goodness.
Come on, you did it.
On demand. Nothing like being under pressure.
Oh yeah.
Zuzu's pedals.
Yeah, that's a Jimmy story. Jimmy.
Zuzu's pedals, Mary.
That's what I did.
I just got to
pretty
be.
good.
That's not bad.
I just got to be Clarence the Angel, which meant I fell off the top row of the bleachers onto a, mat on the floor.
You did?
Yeah, and I think my neck has been jacked up ever since.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I was Clarence the Angel.
When
remember?
he jumped off the bridge.
Yeah. Well, no, you were going to jump off the bridge, but Clarence fell from heaven, the angel, to come down.
I
to help
remember the
George.
story.
He didn't have his wings
Yeah.
yet.
Now that he said it.
Anyway,
You saved me.
I did. Yeah.
Amen.
Clarence the Angel.
Amen.
It was a good time.
Yes.
I remember Back to the Future, but honestly, you're right. I think that was the best one we did was It's a Wonderful Life because the message is timeless.
all the stuff that's behind the scenes that people don't think of back then. And I'm just going to shout out all the people that was on the art team.
As
and they
many as
did,
we can, because there were
oh
so many.
my goodness, the sets that they did, and Homecoming, back when they used to pomp the,
So I
all
actually
of those things were spent hours and hours and hours doing those things. And so a lot of times you only see the 4 or 5 people that's up on the stage, but
right.
that was produced by
Whole crew.
entire crews of people.
And now I had a year after you, and so I don't remember which is which because it's been a long time ago. But we did. What was your basketball homecoming? Do you remember? Was it putting on the Ritz or was
No.
it the American flag one?
The American flag one,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I don't remember that one as well. But so you and I, we did the Back to the Future. We did the Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life, and then the American flag, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So the next year we did. I don't remember what we did for football. I think Tara. I think we did a Gone with the Wind,
Oh,
and then we did. Christmas actually was a really good one. We did Charlie Brown's Christmas.
okay.
And Steve McBee and I did that one. And I would love for Steve to come down here. I have been for years trying to get Steve McBee to move back to Southwest Missouri. He's in Columbia, good friend of mine. And then we did Putting on the Ritz for the basketball. But
Well, that makes me think, because we've thrown out so many different names tonight, we really need to encourage some of these. Not a lot of people think that reunions are something that they want to do, and I think when you've got kids and all that stuff early, that may be true. But I think it's time for some people to say, hey, let's get together. And my group, 88, other people have really pressed in on that. Like, I think Toby Kaiser was the one who, promoted it, had a band there and everything.
Well,
It'd be
we've
nice
got
to have some more.
2 more chairs right next to you guys.
Yeah.
that
Indeed.
We could more than easily and happily have anybody else come in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
sit
We'd like
with
to have
us.
guests. Yeah.
And just
Our friend Dan Olin has already kind of volunteered to come and
yeah,
He's
let's have Danny here.
Yeah.
He's in your class.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also
we'll have to
talked.
get yeah, he'll fit there, I guess.
Yeah. We also talked about bringing in people like, again, from what we were talking about earlier, we could have somebody from Young Life, like Keaton, could
sure.
come in and sit with us and talk
I don't know.
about.
He's pretty
so that's
young.
Keaton Garrett.
He's pretty young.
The problem is keeping up with him.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. If
I'll just-
I'm hard to keep up with,
We'll have to sedate him.
Keaton, he's on steroids.
We drink coffee and sedate him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So Keaton, we could bring Pete Fritsch
Oh, yeah.
to
Pete's
talk
great.
about
Love
Appleseed.
to have Pete in.
What else? You got any ideas?
Oh, we've talked about other stuff, but I mean, I can't pull it out of my brain right now.
All right, do
I'm
something.
sitting on it.
Go to that commercial thing, and I'll tell
Do
you.
I have a commercial? I don't have a commercial.
Yes, you
ready.
do.
Well, I didn't get it ready. I'll see what I can do.
So
Keep trucking for
while
a minute.
he's doing that, I was segueing into your shirt because I wanted to contrast what you're like.
With what you're like,
Yeah.
I don't have a commercial ready because I wasn't
that's okay.
intending on
We don't need a
promoting-
commercial. We'll
promoting
just-
me or anybody else.
All we're doing is shooting the breeze anyway.
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah,
What?
what? You brought it up.
I know, but you didn't address it.
I'm not wearing a dress.
It's not funny.
It is funny.
It isn't funny.
Yeah, it really is.
No.
Yeah.
You're just mad because
he
you
poo-poos
can't
my jokes.
Respond like that.
I can and do and will.
You
It's my power.
and you won't.
That's a shout out to the kids. Hey, how about that? What about family vacations? What's something you remember with your kids, something that jumps out at you?
You know, gosh,
Favorite
the only
stuff.
family vacation I think that we took 2, as
Mm-hmm.
I recall, when my kids were young. We took we did the Griswold. So we loaded up the minivan and we went to St. Louis and we visited the zoo and we went to Chicago and went to Shed's Aquarium and we went to the Navy Pier and we drove across Indiana and Ohio to Pittsburgh and we went to a St. Louis Cardinals game in PNC Stadium where they lost to the Pirates, but Pujols homered. And we drove home through Lexington, Kentucky, Nashville, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, and then back to our home here in Southwest Missouri. And that was our Griswold family vacation. And then, when we had a little more money, we flew
Flew to those places?
we flew to Walt Disney World, and that was fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, our families have traveled together multiple times.
That's pretty much our family vacations is when
Yeah.
we used to go together.
Yeah, which was fun. It was an experience.
It was. Multiple times.
So I think the funniest thing
Yeah.
was the trip. We all rode together because we had a Suburban at the time,
Okay.
and
You
Haley had, I don't know what kind of foot fungus going on, but she was way in the back, the third row, and she would take her shoes off, and it would go okay for a couple of minutes, and then Becky, my wife, would be like, Haley, did you take your shoes off again? And Haley would just cackle, put your shoes back on. And so that'd be okay for a while. And then, but the worst part was, do you remember going out to the Suburban to discover that she had left said shoes in the Suburban
No.
in the Louisiana heat overnight?
Oh, yeah, I think I remember. At least I remember them talking about it.
We opened the doors and there was this visible funk that came out the doors and kind of wrapped itself around us. It was bad. We had to let the truck air out for quite a while before we could even load up and leave.
Oh, man. Hey, that's something that when people laugh at that stuff where people get actually hurt, I don't like that. I don't like seeing
I'm
videos
pretty sure that I'm scarred
of
after that.
people when they get hurt. But if it's just mildly irritated by somebody, passing gas or, having the smelly socks or something like that, I just think that's I think it's hilarious.
That was the same trip where on our way back from Atlanta,
Yeah.
we'd gone to Stone Mountain and some stuff.
I
and we
remember.
were staying at this cabin up in
Okay.
the road was one of those that switches back on itself and goes up and you see yourself coming,
So I was sick.
and you were what I used to call the oh crap handles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You were hanging from it. I don't know what made it better, but you were hanging from it with your feet up on the dash and your head out the window, and you never did yak. But we really thought you were going to ruin the side of the Suburban.
Well, I don't want you guys to blow all your good stories on one night here. So we've been at it for about half an hour. It's probably time
Okay.
to shut it down.
Okay.
This is good.
Yeah.
Do we? So I'll throw this out there. I do feel like maybe next time,
Yeah.
let's give you a chance to talk about Appleseed. Do you want to wait until we can have Pete on with you?
If Pete could come, then great. But I
Pete,
don't
will you
want to
come?
wait for Pete. I'd love to get
Okay. Well, why don't
Appleseed started.
You check with Pete and
Yep.
see if he'd be willing to come. If
Okay.
not, if he's a big chicken and doesn't want to hang out with us,
and let's remind people what Appleseed is again. Go-
Well, here's the thing. Pete's not a chicken. He's been on our show here on Planet 417 before.
Bam.
But I do
but he
want
hasn't been
you-
with the three of us.
No, that's a whole different process.
is,
But
yep.
if there's anything coming up for Appleseed, let us know right now. But if not, we'll wait for Pete.
Well, I can tell you right now that we've got projects going on in Fordland, Mountain Grove, and on top of what we got in Rogersville, really strong.
Yeah, and real quick, just let the people know what Appleseed is.
Give us an overview.
Okay.
Short. Elevator pitch.
My elevator pitch never ends up being an elevator. It's a long pitch. Okay, myappleseed.org for me, it's educators helping educators be all that they can be. Pete's got a great slogan that he, explains the whole thing. There's a pitch that he has. But for me, it is a recognition as both a parent, an educator, an administrator. I've seen all those things. I think as a student even, I think that a key component that we need to work on right now is retention of teachers, remind those teachers who they are and help them fulfill their calling, why they got into education, but not just to say, hey, remember why you do what you do. It's more than that. It's encouraging them in reminding why they do what they do. It's a servant's heart that would put you in a situation to want to teach. And I think that because of teachers pouring into my life, it helped me to understand that's what I wanted to do with mine. So for me, it's me going after educators and helping them become the very best that they can be. For me, it has a very spiritual component. Mm-hmm. It's not that we would not help any and all educators. Appleseed is for everybody. But for me, it goes deeper to where I would encourage them and help facilitate in any way I can to mentor or provide resources or whatever it is that they need, and then building that relationship with them. If it moves into spiritual things, then even better. So I don't know. My spiel would take an entire hour. I just absolutely love.
Yeah, your elevator just went to the top of the Burge?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to know more about Appleseed or Planet 417, feel free to contact us. My office is here. This studio's in the back of my law firm, which I feel like that guy that had the law firm in the back of the bowling studio. I don't know if you remember that show, but it's kind of what I do now. But, we want to promote Appleseed. We want to promote Rogersville, the Ozarks, Planet 417. You can come by here at 203 Jamestown Boulevard, and we'll give you any information. We'll connect you to whoever you need to know. And if you have a business in Southwest Missouri, we would love to help you get the word out.
Yep.
We love the Ozarks. We think we have something special here. We are hillbillies, and we are proud hillbillies. I think hillbillies
Amen.
are rising. J.D. Vance is a proud hillbilly, and he's our vanguard, and I'm proud to be hillbilly, and we want people to know that. And
Welcome.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. We appreciate you being here, and we'll be back sometime, maybe next week.
I
maybe
would
next
love.
Monday.
Maybe.
We're trying to be here every Monday, but
it doesn't always work.
Between me and Mark and Brent, our schedules don't allow, but we're going to try to be consistent.
There we go.
We'll be consistently inconsistent.
Inconsistent.
Yes.
And so we'll be back when we're back, and we'll see you after this.